everyone, welcome to today's MPN 101 call. I'm just going to wait a few minutes for everyone to join. In the meantime, if you could go into the messages and let me know what you ate for breakfast this morning. Thanks. Hi everyone, so I'll go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining today, and my apologies for the confusion over the cancellation sent out yesterday. It's been a little tricky transitioning Chinmai's events to me, but I'm glad to see that you guys got the message. So I'll go ahead and get started. We've got a packed agenda today. So first I'll do an overview of the MPN program. Then Leah Childress is on the line, and she'll be reviewing DPOR, or Digital Partner of Record. And then we have Brian Levinson, who's going to review Partner Admin Link. Also, the deck and the recording will be posted to Yammer after the call. So starting with the Microsoft Partner Network. The Partner Network gives you 3 membership options, which each vary in the level of benefits and resources that they provide you. Network membership is the lowest level. It's free and provides entry-level benefits. Action Pack is a paid annual subscription. This provides you software licenses that we also call internal use rights and dedicated support for $475 a year. The Competencies subscription is the third option, and this is an earned designation, meaning that there are a few requirements to complete to get the competency. We have 2 levels for competencies, which are silver and gold. At the bottom right, you'll see a link for more information on the different membership options. Taking a step back and looking at the Action Pack subscription, this is an affordable yearly subscription to software, support, and benefits for businesses that want to begin, build, and grow their Microsoft practice. As I mentioned before, it costs $475 a year. There are no exams or assessments. You get access to Microsoft software, which can help your business save on operational costs, as well as enable you to get to know Microsoft products in order to sell them better. Taking a look at our competency framework, right now there are 18 competencies under 6 pillars: cloud platform and infrastructure, productivity, data management and analytics, mobility, dynamic business applications, and app builder independent software vendor competencies. I say for now, as the program often changes, so it's important to stay engaged with the Microsoft MPN team in order to keep up with any changes. Each competency has its own set of requirements. In order to attain a cloud competency, there are 4 things you need to do: demonstrate sales performance, pass technical exams, provide customer evidence, and pay the fees. There are several benefits that you get through having a cloud competency. You get unlimited cloud support for the cloud program, cloud product that you have the competency in. So for example, if you have the Office 365 competency, you get unlimited signature cloud support around Office 365. As I mentioned earlier, you also get additional software licenses and Azure credits for development and test environments. These competencies also get you eligibility to partner incentives. Please note that the eligibility criteria can vary by your subsidiary. I see in the messages that we have at least one person from another sub here on the call, so make sure that you check with your incentives lead. Partner incentives are a great opportunity to increase your margins by rewarding you for sales performance. Finally, you get guaranteed account coverage at the gold level. If you have a gold cloud competency, this means that you have someone at Microsoft dedicated to help you through the partner journey as it relates to the program. Next, I wanted to highlight the core benefits of the cloud competencies. So taking a look at these competencies, there are core benefits from product support incidents to phone support, and then down to eligibility for incentive programs, as I mentioned before. Please note that for cloud competencies, you get these incremental benefits in the far right column. So for example, with a cloud platform competency, in addition to the core licenses that you get with any competency, you also get additional Azure bulk credits, $6,000 for silver and $12,000 for gold. This is not a comprehensive list, so please visit the competency table that there is a link for at the bottom right-hand end of this slide. Next is the Cloud Enablement Desk. This gives you access to a cloud program specialist for up to 6 months. This specialist will guide you through the steps required to achieve a cloud competency and provide you with the appropriate technical and business resources. To get access to the desk, please visit aka.ms/CED nominate. There are many support options for MPN members. We provide you resources to simplify your onboarding experience by providing partner frontline support and the cloud enablement desk that I just reviewed. We also provide resources for accelerating growth and consumption through technical pre-sales and deployment services. Finally, we increase adoption and unblock use. This will accelerate productive use, reduce churn, and ensure customer health. We do this through signature cloud support and product support incidents. We also offer optional paid support offerings. Partner Frontline Support offers community forums, phone-based support, as well as live chat support on the partner website. We also offer advanced support and premier support for partners. The support benefits available to you vary on your subscription level. So for Gold, you get 50 partner advisory hours, technical pre-sales assistance, partner support community, 20 product support incidents, and so on. Whereas for Silver, you receive 20 partner advisory hours, 15 product support incidents, and so on again. Whereas Action Pack and Network provide fewer benefits. So this demonstrates the benefits that you can get if you decide to earn a Gold or Silver competency. Finally, we offer resources specific to independent software vendors or ISVs. These resources include Microsoft software to run your business, as well as training and support for core Microsoft technologies, the Cloud Ready Business Toolkit and Cloud Ready Analyzer to help you build a modern cloud practice on the Microsoft stack. And finally, the ISV and Application Builder Center brings together your resources for building, customizing, and taking your applications to market. You can see at the bottom of this slide several links to get access to these different resources for ISVs. So before I hand it off to Leah, I'd like to open it up to any questions. So if you'd like to put those in the message box now, I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions coming through, but I'm happy to answer them at the end of this session. So with that, Leah, do you want to take over as presenter?
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Alrighty, so guys, feel free to jump in at any time. Sarah is going to be moderating the chat here. I want to make sure that I'm answering your questions as they come up, and I'll pause at the end if there are more that come up. So with that, I know many of you know what Digital Partner of Record is. It is a basis for getting your competency as well as a way to earn incentives. It allows you to see your customers' consumption and usage, which is awesome, and helps you gain a deeper level of understanding of their business. So ultimately, this slide here is a breakdown of what it is, the partner value, so everything I've just described. And for the customer, it's valuable because you are able to see the consumption and usage and offer them a higher level of support. Now, there are some pitfalls to Digital Partner of Record. It's important to note that it is at the customer's discretion to do the tagging, which means you are reliant on them to assign you as Digital Partner of Record. Another pitfall would be it is assigned at the subscription level. So when we're talking about usage, Office 365, for example, if you're tagged on a subscription, there are multiple workloads underneath it, and only one partner can be tagged per subscription. So that's just something to bear in mind. And we recognize, that there are challenges around this from an incentives perspective. So let me just switch over here. And I'm going to actually pause here for a second and make sure that you guys can see the slide before I start going into it.
Just looks like there's a slight delay, Leah, but should be up soon.
Yeah, it seems to be lagging a little more than usual. There we go. Okay. So some of the shortcomings of DPOR, as I described, are it's complex, it's a pain. These are all things that we've heard from partners and customers, by the way. It is a limit of one partner per subscription, as I mentioned. It is not able to associate at a resource or service level. It is unnatural to have a customer complete the attachment. It's complex and burdensome for the customer. There are two different methodologies for doing the digital partner record tagging depending on which product they would be tagging you on. So for all of the usage components, Office, EMS, and Dynamics, there's one portal that they would do the assignment in, and then in Azure, there is another portal that they would have to enter, and the steps are laid out on the digital partner of record site, but that doesn't mean that it's necessarily intuitive for a customer. So those are really the big ones that we have. The other ones are that it's difficult to identify who within the customer and organization can change a digital partner of record. Oftentimes you're working with the sales side, and it is actually somebody technical who would need to go in for the customer and make the assignment. The customer doesn't want the partner to see consumption. That's another thing that we hear pretty commonly, which it is a benefit to see the consumption, but if the customer has concerns about it, then that poses an issue for getting the assignment made. We have also heard that the transactional partner, or air quotes, that steals the digital partner of record. That's not necessarily the case, but because we can have one partner in there instead of multiple, that definitely poses some problems. Customers want digital partner of record for themselves. So if it's an ISV as a customer, they would want it for their competency. The partner can be dropped as digital partner of record on renewed or new subscriptions, especially within usage. Azure, that is not the case. POE is inconsistent. So this is a manual process, and I'll just speak to that a little bit here. Right now we do random audits, and POE is requested to spot check that the digital partner of record that is assigned is the partner that's adding value. So we want to make sure that they do have that engagement with the customer, and we want to ensure that the right partner is getting the digital partner of record. In a lot of cases, partners are putting it into their SOWs to say, assign me as partner of record if I'm doing this work for you. But we want to make sure that that isn't just in the statement of work without having value added for the customer. The other thing that we've heard is incentives are complex. I would definitely say the incentives are, at a level of complexity that you need to deeply understand how they work, which it's helpful to have people within the different subsidiaries, the partner incentive leads, to help guide you there. And then there is another two pain points that I've heard. They don't see customers that I am digital partner of record in their dashboard. So in some cases, there are timing lags for the cloud dashboard or my dashboard to make updates. And then just as a caveat, when you're looking at your cloud dashboard or your my dashboard, as you guys would see it, ultimately it's going to reflect the customers that you are digital partner of record for, but it's not specific for incentives. So it's going to reflect things that are, non-paying SKUs, free SKUs, anything that might not be qualified. So maybe a SKU just isn't captured in our rate card for usage and it's in there. Additionally, it's going to capture things like fast track and any tagging method that's going to show you these customers. That doesn't mean that they're going to be paid incentives on it necessarily. So you do have to have that deeper understanding of the guides and the rate card to know for sure what you would be getting paid on. And then you also have to take into consideration what's showing up on your dashboard might have different timing than what we're pulling through in either PyXP or into CHIP for Azure. So those are also variances. You can see my guidance is don't use the cloud dashboard to try to tie out or make an assessment of what you're going to be paid for incentives. It's just not going to tie out the way you want it to, and you're going to spend a lot of time in frustration. So that ties into the delay in getting visibility and incentives. So we are aware of all of these things. They're not new, but I definitely want to make sure that you guys are aware that we know, we hear you, we're working on it. And actually that is why we have Brian on the call. So before I get into that, I want you guys to know that there are 2 different ways to manage your Azure account. This is the usage and billing side on the right. So this is an existing entry point, and then we have a new entry point, and it's relatively new now. All of you guys might be well versed in this at this point, but I just want to call it to everyone's attention as a way to manage your subscription. So if you go to the Azure portal, that is where you can manage your subscriptions as well. As part of that, another way that we have tried to make more enhancements to the overall experience is to put more empowerment to the partners. So for Azure, there is a quick link method available. So you would need to identify the subscription GID and the partner MPN ID that needs to be associated. You enter both of those into the URL format, and you would email the URL subscription admin or customer subscription or the subscription contributor at the customer, and they would be able to go in and actually validate that that partner ID is the one that they want associated. So it cuts down on the number of steps for the customer. So this is really valuable if you're working within Azure. So this is out there now. And then as a way to communicate this to customers, instead of just sending them an email link, there is some sample DPOR request emails from the partner to the customer that we have posted up on the DPOR website. So aka.ms/digitalpor, that is up there. And that is in the resource slides as well. And you guys will be receiving these slides. Okay, so digital partner resources enhancement is an ongoing thing that we do. So we do updated and improved resources on the DPOR landing page. If you have any questions about the digital partner record, either related to Office, EMS, Dynamics, Azure, it's going to be captured here. The FAQ, I would say, is very valuable. We do make updates to that as things change and as they become available. So another thing that I am spending time on is fixing the add remove process for DPOR from an email notification perspective. We know that not all of them are necessarily getting sent out right now, and we're working to improve that. This is something that should be happening, and if you're not getting something that you believe you should be, you can definitely reach out to support, and they will be able to help guide you there. Ultimately, this is something that's going to be ongoing as well, is improving the partner cloud dashboard reporting capability. So this is around accuracy and timeliness. Introducing partner notifications for deprovisioned or expired subscriptions. You should be getting notified of these now. So for usage, for example, if you look in the FAQ, they have it explicitly called out for in grace. So when you see the subscription is in grace, it means that the EA would be expiring within, I think it's 45 or 60 days. So you should get that notification, and you should be able to go in and have the conversation with your customer that once they have their new subscriptions in place, if you're still actively engaged with them, they should be able to tag you onto the new subscriptions. It's not ideal, but that is the reality that we're working under right now. We also want to reinforce intent of DPOR with partners and customers. So the reality is we want to make sure that the partners who are our digital partner of record are adding value. It's not just a way to get incentives. It's supposed to be something that, you know, proves like a deeper level of engagement with the customer. And so we want to make sure that the right partners are in there. And the way that we're trying to do that is through auditing, as I mentioned. So further clarity impacts to DPOR and GID or agreement renewals. So again, this is something that would be updated through the FAQ. These are things that we're trying to work towards to make sure that everybody has a really good understanding of what DPOR is, what it's not, and what you can expect from it. So now I'm going to pause here for questions. I'm actually going to skip over to Brian's slide so that it has time to populate.
Yep, looks like we got some questions. Inna, I I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Where can I find more information on this approach? Very valuable.
On the digital partner of record approach? I just want to clarify. Or is that on the Azure subscription attach? Okay, so let me just run through these real quick here. So yes, everything will be posted. As Sarah mentioned at the beginning of the call, it will be posted. Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong, on the, I'm drawing a total blank on what it's called. Yes, but what Yammer specifically, because there's multiple out there, so I just want to make sure everybody's going to the right one.
MPN 101 Yammer, and the follow-up email will include links specifically to the decks.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so Anna, for the new Azure attach, that is located on the digital partner of record page. It is within the FAQ. It's also in the overview slides. And then it was in one other place as well. I'm drawing a blank on what that is. Let me just look really quickly so that I'm not misguiding you here. So we have, yep, so it would be the customer guide, digital partner of record overview, and then the digital partner of record FAQ. So it's in those three places on the digital partner of record site. And I'll just drop into the chat once Brian kicks off. I'll drop the site in so that everybody has it. It is captured in the deck, but if you want to start, poking around or looking at resources to see if you have other questions, please do so, and I'll hang around. So now I don't see any other questions, but Sarah, if you could drop in the MPN Yammer just to make sure that everybody's on it, that would be great.
Yep, I'll do that now.
Okay, great. And then I'm going to turn it over to Brian to talk about our new and exciting feature for Partner Admin Link.
Awesome. Thank you, Leah and Sarah. My name is Brian Levinson. I'm a program manager within the Azure Engineering Division. I work on platform tools and programs for partners to really enable partners working with Microsoft customers to be successful, to further your business, and to make Azure the best platform, the best infrastructure possible. Just by way of quick introduction, I've been at Microsoft for about 10 years. The first 6, I was a technical account manager working with large enterprise organizations and government agencies adopting early Office 365. I then worked in the Office 365 product group for the last couple of years and joined the Azure team a couple of months back to work on partner programs, tooling the Azure platform, and it's really exciting. I'm really having a great time and love working with partners. As Leah and as Sarah have outlined, we have a lot of great programs and capabilities designed to help recognize the important work that partners are doing with our shared customers. We want to sell together. We want to help our customers be successful. And Leah also outlined some of the challenges that we've had with digital partner of record, some of the areas we're making really important, good improvements. And I want to start out by emphasizing that digital partner of record remains the formal and official mechanism for recognizing and rewarding the work that partners are doing. What I've been working on with Partner Admin Link, partnering, I guess I'm overusing that word, working closely with Leah and with the broader team is looking at the future of how can we further enable our partners to be successful. And so when we looked at Partner Admin Link, digital partner of record and the capabilities that are in the product today, as Leah mentioned, we noticed that there were a number of challenges that we wanted to address and improve upon. Multiple partners often work with the same customer, the same subscription, and in some cases, digital partner of record is assigned by whomever is there working with the customer first. We've identified that some customers use partner of record as a negotiation lever. They recognize the value of it, and so then they'll include that in discussions when signing a statement of work or purchasing services. Or some customers actually even just say, we're not going to assign partner of record out of principle. And so we're working through how can we then continue to recognize the work that partners are providing, managing resources, provisioning services, providing support to infrastructure. And we started out by looking at the ways that partners are managing that infrastructure today. So outside of the CSP platform, we see that this is done in generally or a combination of three ways. One is the customer might provide you with an admin account within their tenant or within their domain, and you then have an admin account in their tenant. Looks exactly like any one of the customer's admins from any telemetry or reporting perspective, but you have the admin rights that you need to provision, configure, support, manage, etc. The second is that the customer can invite you into their tenant using Azure business-to-business capabilities, and then you are essentially a guest account within their tenant. Similarly, from a telemetry, from a reporting perspective, that looks no different than as if the customer was managing the resources themselves. And then the third is using a service principal. And a service principal is the equivalent of a user account, but for applications. It can be integrated into applications so that you can then automate and authenticate into the environment and do management activities through applications through automation. And those are the three identity models, or really the authentication mechanisms, that we see that partners are using to manage customer environments, customer infrastructure, resources. And those accounts can be granted admin permissions at various levels of scope. It can be at this all-up subscription, it can be at the resource group, or even down to the individual resource instance. And as we mentioned, we recognize that there might be multiple partners working within the same subscription, within the same resource group. For example, maybe one partner is selling the licenses, another comes in to deploy an application, an ISV maybe provisions the resources, deploys the application, and then even yet another partner is providing help desk services, tier 1, 2, or 3 support. And so what we're seeking to do is not disrupt any of the operational procedures that you have in place, not ask you to do anything different in terms of the way that you're managing these environments, but also start to provide better insights to you and to your customers in terms of the value that you're contributing to them, and then also allow Microsoft to recognize the good work that you're doing. And so within the context of those particular challenges that we outlined with Digital Partner of Record, in the context of the ways that we see partners managing customer environments today, and with the principles set that it needs to be simple, seamless, require very, very little or no effort from the end customer or the partner yourselves, we designed the Partner Admin Link capability. And so what Partner Admin Link does is it associates a partner's MPN ID, or Microsoft Partner Network formal number, with those set of credentials that are being used to manage the environment. So you have your credentials, you're already managing the infrastructure, the resources at the various scope levels that you mentioned. And what we are enabling is that you can associate those credentials with your MPN ID so that it's formally or demonstrated that it's actually you doing that work and not just the customer. And so the thing that the Partner Admin Link then starts to enable is you can have multiple sets of credentials managing resources within the same subscription. We can then start to recognize the work that you're doing based on the resources you have admin permissions to, again, based on those set of credentials. And so the way that we view a partner managing the infrastructure for customers is essentially based on the admin rights that you have, the level of permissions you have in this environment. And so the way that we're approaching this is that we've introduced the Partner Admin Link capabilities as a public preview. It's available today, and it's very, very simple to link an MPN ID with the credentials. I'll speak to that in just a moment here, but it's very simple to do, and that's possible today. You can do that in any of your customer environments. You can even test it out in your own environment, and that is possible today. Over the coming weeks, we're introducing partner reporting that will allow you to see the customers, resources, subscriptions under your management, as well as the Azure revenue that's being influenced by your activities. I say in the next couple of weeks and say that slightly vaguely because we are actually just working through the logistics with our legal team to make sure that we're exposing as much data as possible to make it useful, insightful, and valuable, while also protecting the privacy of our customers and of our partners. So we're finalizing some of the logistics there. In the coming weeks that will be available to you for any accounts and credentials that you've associated with your MPN ID. And that's the first phase. That is, we want to be able to provide partners with a very seamless, efficient manner to see your engagements, the resources under your management, and the impact that you're having on the revenue from that customer. The next phase is that we're also working to build customer-facing reporting so that the customers can see who are the partners working in my environment, what is the scope of the work that they're doing, and give them a view of their environment from the perspective of not just which admin accounts are live in the environment, but which partners are acting on my behalf. And then the third pivot to this is that we also want to provide Microsoft account teams with much more precise visibility into the partners working with their customers. As it stands today, we always encourage the Microsoft account teams to collaborate with partners, to co-sell, to position partner services to help bring to life the Microsoft products. But it's often done by word of mouth if you happen to know the partner is working with your customer, if you're a Microsoft account manager. And with the partner admin link capabilities and the reporting that we're designing, we intend to be able to give the Microsoft account teams much more useful information so that they can more effectively co-sell with our partners, bring an end-to-end solution to the customers rather than inadvertently overlapping with you. So we're thinking about it from that angle. The next phase further down the line of where we see value here and potentially going is that hypothetically, with the right level of insights and collaboration, we can start to do things like automate competencies. Rather than having you demonstrate that you're capable of doing something, we hypothetically could start to recognize your ability to do something based on the fact that you're doing it day in and day out. And so there's a lot of potential, but I did want to tee this up as currently as being in a public preview, you're able to associate your accounts with your MPN ID, and we are actively and aggressively working on the reporting right now. I want to pause and step back a little bit from kind of the vision and the direction and be a little bit more precise in terms of the scope of what Partner Admin Link allows us to track and the information that's being provided. And so with Partner Admin Link, by associating the admin credentials with your MPN ID, it is able to identify and provide you insights into all of the management access you have for Azure. And this spans all licensing programs, regardless of how the subscription was set up. If the subscription was purchased through an enterprise agreement, through a cloud solution provider, or Web Direct, that is all supported with Partner Admin Link. It doesn't matter how the subscription was set up. Any partner is able to start Link, and it doesn't matter if there are multiple partners managing the same subscription, resource group, or even resource instance. The reporting pipeline is designed to identify that and also just show you the scope of the influence that you have. And it's really the user credentials, the scope of the access, so the admin role, whether it's reader, contributor, owner, the scope level being resource group, subscription, resource instance, and then the consumption of those resources so that we can provide much more granular insights into what you're managing and the influence that that's having for the customer and for our shared business. Now, when we start to look at how to create the link, I mentioned it needs to be simple, it needs to be easy to do, and the intention is to not require any work by the customer. Leah mentioned some of the opportunities we have with Digital Partner of Record. It can often be hard to find the person within the customer's organization who has the rights to go list you as Digital Partner of Record. Or maybe they don't do it out of principle, or whatever the scenario may be. It's requiring something of the customer to provide a benefit to our partners and to Microsoft, which is oftentimes a lengthier conversation and more friction than what we want. And so that's where the partner admin link also simplifies this experience in that you can do it yourself, and it can be done by anyone who has the credentials, the username and password of the admin account. It's very simple to do in PowerShell. Because it's a public preview, you just install the module that's available publicly, and we do have links, and we'll provide some documentation in the follow-up email and in the Yammer network. But PowerShell is simple. We've actually gotten feedback that command line is even easier. And we do have, as of very recently, there's a UI within the Azure Management Portal, sometimes referred to as Ibiza. The requirements are very, very minimal. All you really need is a valid MPN ID and then the username and password for the account that you intend to link. You'll need rights to PowerShell and have the latest module installed if you want to use PowerShell. The Azure portal, just access to a browser and the URL, and we will have navigation set up through the portal settings in roughly the next week. The number of questions that we often get are, can someone else change the MPN ID associated with my account? And the answer is technically yes. Anyone with credentials, username, and password for that account can do it, but only anyone with the username and password for that account can do it. It can be associated with an MPN ID. That ID can be updated, removed at any time by the person with the credentials to that account. And if your engagement with the customer ends, we expect that the partner will then revoke your admin permissions into their account. But again, if you overlap with another partner, that does not preclude you from getting recognition of influencing that subscription. And so that's the way that we think about doing the partner admin link association. And we do have it available as a public preview today. The documentation is available. We'll share that over. We are encouraging everyone to start linking accounts at your convenience. The reporting will be available in the near future. And by participating now, you're able to help us set the direction of where we're heading. We want your feedback on the reporting. We want your feedback on the linkage mechanism, and really feedback on these general programs and approaches in general really help us set the course for how we move forward and continue to improve the Microsoft engagement and collaboration with our partners. So I'm going to pause here. I'd love to open it up to questions, hear what's top of mind, and I will pause and we'll see if anything comes in through the IM chat.
Brian, what I'm seeing from Inna is if this is the same as delegated admin privileges.
Good question. The partner admin link capability does not change the permissions of the account in any way. And this is actually something that I should have spoken to, so great question. What the partner admin link capability will do is associate the admin credentials with the partner ID and nothing else. It does not change the permissions in the environment. It does not provide partners with greater access to resources. It does not provide visibility to anything that you did not already have to begin with. and honestly, nothing that Microsoft had to begin with either. Rather, it's just associating all of that information so that we recognize that it's you as the partner rather than the customer doing that work. And that's something that is one of the principles that's very important to us, is that the admin partner link doesn't change the permissions, it doesn't change your operational procedures, but rather allows you to maintain the approach that you're taking while also improving our ability to recognize the work that you're doing and the importance for the customers. And actually, to even expand on that a little bit further, your MPN ID isn't written back to the customer's directory. That data isn't even stored in their tenant. It's actually stored in the Azure management layer of the Azure product. So it's not writing anything back to the customer's environment. It doesn't change permissions. So just hopefully that answers the question.
So just to add a little bit of clarification there, I know that the partners have heard us talk about Azure DAP before. So in relation to that, this is the same thing. We rebranded it to PAL just so there was no confusion, because DAP does exist in other places.
Thank you. That is a really good clarification. Yes. Formerly called DAP, we've rebranded it PAL to be Partner Admin Link.
So another question is, so this partner link permits multiple partners to receive competency credit for driving consumption, their partner scorecard, but not the actual monetary Azure consumption-based incentives?
That's a good question. In the public preview, what we're doing is we are prioritizing the reporting capabilities to help streamline business operations and the ability to report value back to the customer. During this phase, we're analyzing the data and the trends and making sure that we don't disrupt any of the ways that our partners are doing important work. And then moving forward, we'll start to look at and formalize how we can automate competencies, potentially even incentives. But during the preview phase, we're really focusing primarily on the ability to link accounts and improve reporting and visibility into the work that's being done for you to share with your customer, for customers to see in their environments, and for Microsoft to better collaborate and co-sell. The competencies, any incentives, that would be around the time of general availability, which is to be determined.
Any other questions? We'll just wait a few more minutes and see if there's anything else specific to Brian.
Okay. One last slide to put up, just kind of the timeline of where we're looking at general availability of the reporting would be in kind of the June timeframe, and then some privacy considerations and partner resources, as well as frequently asked questions. And this will all be provided as we share out the slides and posted in the Yammer community. Sorry, Sarah, back to you.
Okay, great. Well, I will take over as presenter. Looks like it's just taking a moment. Okay. So here are the DPOR resources. We've gone through the questions. Finally, for any of you that are in the Austin area or within distance of Austin, we're having an event next Thursday, May 17th at noon. This will be a great event for reviewing what the program can offer to you, as well as to meet the Microsoft team, as well as meet other partners in the ecosystem. We'll also be having a happy hour at the office after the event. You can register at the aka.ms link here, and please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Here are the various ways to connect with us. I encourage you to check out each of these links, as well as engage with us on Yammer. Yammer is a great place to get your questions answered, as well as see what other questions partners are asking. To stay informed as a U.S. partner in general, we have several sockets for you to plug into, from our partner community to training and enablement. Inspire, which is coming up in July. We recently had a session with Dina Grimstead, who is the U.S. Inspire lead. If you want to look up that deck on the Yammer page, there was a lot of great information there. She'll be joining us again at the end of June for a Know Before You Go Inspire session. We have links here for Microsoft Partner Network resources, profitability and cloud adoption tools, business model resources, and finally, partner support. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and again, encourage you to go to the ak.ms MPN site. So that's all we have for today. Thank you for attending. Again, I apologize for the confusion over the cancellation. I have a question. Will you be in Austin? Yes, I will be in Austin, as well as Chiang Mai. We also have our communications manager, Monish Sood, presenting as well as another member of my team, Christina Lee, who specializes in working with ISVs. So it should be a great event, good time to learn more about what MPN has to offer and get some face time with our team. Okay, so with that, I'll close out the call. You can expect the deck and the recording to be posted to Yammer shortly, as well as direct links to these resources in the follow-up email that you'll receive this afternoon. Thank you, and I hope you all have a great day.